Aging infrastructure could be the probable cause of the recent train derailment in South Manatee. Train derailments are not uncommon in the United States, and they can occur due to various reasons. However, one of the primary causes of train derailments is aging infrastructure. The railroad network in the United States is over 140 years old, and the tracks and bridges and tunnels that make up the infrastructure has been in use for decades, if not centuries. One of the most significant challenges of aging infrastructure is that it requires constant maintenance and upgrades to remain safe and reliable. Unfortunately, many railroads in the United States have not received the necessary upgrades and maintenance, leading to an increased risk of accidents and derailments. In the case of the recent train derailment in South Manatee, it is highly probable that aging infrastructure played a role in the incident. The derailment involved boxcars and propane tankers, which are heavy and require sturdy tracks and a stable foundation to prevent derailments. The tracks in South Manatee and other parts of the United States may have deteriorated over time due to exposure to harsh weather, heavy traffic, and lack of maintenance. Cracks, uneven surfaces, and other forms of damage can weaken the tracks, making them more susceptible to derailments. Moreover, aging infrastructure can also affect the rolling stock, including locomotives, freight cars, and tankers. The equipment used in the railroad industry can wear over time, making it more prone to failure and accidents. For example, worn-out brakes, wheels, or couplers can lead to derailments or other incidents. Another factor that can contribute to aging infrastructure is inadequate funding. Railroads in the United States are mostly privately owned, and they rely on their own revenue to fund maintenance and upgrades. However, the cost of maintaining and upgrading the aging infrastructure can be significant, and many railroads may not have the resources to invest in the necessary improvements. Regulatory oversight and enforcement can also play a role in ensuring the safety and reliability of the railroad network. However, the regulations and standards for railroads in the United States may not always keep up with the latest technology and best practices, leading to gaps and inconsistencies in safety measures. Aging infrastructure is a significant challenge for the railroad industry in the United States, and it can contribute to accidents and derailments. The recent train derailment in South Manatee is a stark reminder of the urgent need to invest in maintaining and upgrading the infrastructure to ensure the safety and reliability of the railroad network. Adequate funding, regulatory oversight, and enforcement are crucial to addressing the issue of aging infrastructure and preventing future incidents. There have been several historic accounts of guerrilla warfare on rail in the United States. One of the most notable instances of this during the American Civil War, when both the Union and Confederate armies utilized the railroad system for transportation and logistics. Guerrilla warfare was used as a common tactic during the Civil War, and the railroad network was often a target of sabotage by guerrilla fighters. Confederate partisans such as John Hunt Morgan and his men were notorious for their attacks on Union trains and railroad lines. They would cut telegraph wires, destroy bridges and tunnels, and tear up tracks to disrupt Union supply lines and transportation. Similarly, Union guerrilla fighters also targeted Confederate railroads and trains. One of the most famous Union guerrilla fighters was William Quantrill, who led a group of raiders that attacked Confederate trains and railroad lines in Missouri and Kansas. Another notable incident of guerrilla warfare on rail in the United States occurred during the 1894 Pullman strike. The Pullman Palace Car Company, which manufactured luxury rail cars, had cut wages and laid off workers during an economic downturn, leading to a strike by the workers. The strike eventually spread to other rail workers, and it severely disrupted rail transportation in the United States. During the strike, there were several instances of sabotage and violence by striking workers and their sympathizers. For example, the striking workers would disconnect trains, tear up tracks, and set fire to railroad cars. The federal government eventually intervened and ended the strike, and it was a significant turning point in labor relations in the United States. In recent times, there have also been instances of sabotage and attacks on rail infrastructure by activists and terrorists. For example, in 2001, eco-terrorists set fire to a section of the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad tracks in Oregon to protest logging in the area. Similarly, in 2004, the Basque separatist group ETA derailed a high-speed train in Spain, killing 191 people. The railroad system in the United States has been a target of guerrilla warfare, sabotage, and terrorism throughout the history. While the recent train derailment in South Manatee is not believed to be the result of such actions, it is important to be aware of the potential for such incidents and take necessary precautions to prevent them. There may be situations where the U.S. government may be hesitant to immediately disclose a foreign attack, especially if it is not clear who is responsible or if it could lead to an escalation of conflict. In such cases, the government may choose to conduct a thorough investigation to determine the facts before making any public statements. The U.S. government may also be cautious about disclosing foreign attacks if it would reveal vulnerabilities in its security or infrastructure. Exposing such vulnerabilities could potentially make the United States a target for future attacks, or make it more difficult to prevent them. There may also be political considerations that influence the decision to disclose or not disclose foreign attacks. For example, if the attack occurred during a period of political turmoil or conflict, the government may be hesitant to reveal it to avoid further destabilizing the situation. In the long run, covering up foreign attacks on its soil would not be in the best interest of the United States. Such actions would further erode public trust in the government and could lead to further unrest and instability. Therefore, it is important for the U.S. government to be transparent and truthful about any foreign attacks on its soil, while also taking appropriate measures to prevent future attacks. If you're enjoying the new formatted content, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment.